Hello, welcome to the daily English news program on Azərbaycan Televiziya with the most important events of the day. I'm your host, İlham Məmmədov. On March 14th, President of the European Council, Charles Michel, made a phone call to President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev. During the conversation, the sides discussed the post-conflict period in the South Caucasus, contacts and the process of normalization between Armenia and Azerbaijan, as well as the opening of communications and delimitation of borders. The head of state expresses gratitude to President Charles Michel for his efforts to normalize relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan. President Charles Michel noted that the European Union will continue to support stability, peace and prosperity in the South Caucasus. They also discussed the development of recent events in Ukraine and its possible impact on regional security in the South Caucasus. Azerbaijan always demonstrates clever independent policy, patience and restraint in regards to issues of concern on a global scale. Surely it's not easy, but President Ilham Aliyev's leadership skills overcome these difficulties. The entire diplomacy forum, alongside demonstrating the agility of Azerbaijan's foreign policy, strongly influenced the beginning of a new stage of diplomatic relations in the region.
Azerbaijan is one of a handful of countries in the world that conducts its domestic and foreign policy absolutely independently, independently chooses its friends, does not bow its head to anyone and does not report to anyone. The will of the Azerbaijani people is the main issue for me as president. The history of recent years has shown that, despite all attempts, no one has succeeded in making Azerbaijan turn from the path of independence.
Azerbaijan's independent, open, principled and pragmatic foreign policy has always been based on the interests of our country and people. At the same time, we have always showed interest for partner, friendly neighboring states in terms of strengthening of relations and expansion of cooperation. Our rational, restrained and patient approach to the political processes and events in the world has finally been confirmed by concrete facts. Therefore, Azerbaijan was again in the spotlight at the three-day Antalya Diplomacy Forum, which was attended by 17 heads of state and government, representatives from 75 countries, including 80 ministers, and representatives of 39 international and regional organizations. Azerbaijan was really important in terms of conveying the truth to the international community. Just as last year, this year, Azerbaijan was extensively represented on the Antalya Diplomacy Forum. Within the framework of the forum, we also participated in the panel discussions on global issues. Within the participation, numerous bilateral meetings were also held. These meetings are of great importance in terms of informing the international community about events taking place in the region, restoration and reconstruction works taking place in the liberated territories. The forum went down in history with global political events that responded to the challenges of the day. Despite only being held for the second time, it has become an important platform for dialogue between leaders, politicians, scientists and diplomats. The results showed that the forum is more responsive to geopolitical processes in the world. It also aims to make more real contributions to the solution of fateful problems.
Some Armenian experts realized that a new situation was established, and this situation is established by Azerbaijan and its supporter Turkey. Reality must force them to radically change their foreign policy. We are witnessing the emergence of a new system, both regionally and globally. Of course, Azerbaijan plays a role here at the regional level, and so does Turkey, even at the global level.
The meeting of the foreign ministers of Turkey, Russia and Ukraine within the forum went down in history as one of the most memorable events. For the first time since the tense situation between the two countries, the parties sat at the same table at the level of senior diplomats. Of course, the prestige and mediation of Turkey, which is our friend, brother and ally, is undeniable. At the same time, the meeting of the foreign ministers of Turkey and Armenia is considered a memorable event of the forum, as well as a step towards new diplomatic relations in the region.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs revealed proposals presented to Armenia. Spokesperson for Azerbaijan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Leyla Abdullayeva, said that Azerbaijan's proposal on the basic principles for the establishment of relations between the two countries was submitted to Armenia by the mediators a few days ago. It reflected the following 5 basic principles for the normalization of relations between the two countries. mutual recognition of respect for the sovereignty, territorial integrity, inviolability of internationally recognized borders, and political independence of each other. Mutual confirmation of the absence of territorial claims against each other and acceptance of legally binding obligations not to raise such a claim in the future. Obligation to refrain in their interstate relations from undermining the security of each other, from threat or use of force both against political independence and territorial integrity, and in any other manner inconsistent with the purposes of the UN Charter. Delimitation and demarcation of the state border and establishment of the diplomatic relations. Unblocking of the transportation and other communications, building other communications as appropriate, and establishment of cooperation in other fields of mutual interest. The two countries can conclude a bilateral peace agreement on the basis of the above-mentioned principles by conducting intensive, substantive, and result-oriented negotiations. In accordance with the combat training plan for the current year, land forces conducted shooting exercises with large-caliber machine gun and automatic grenade launcher personnel. During the shooting exercises, the tasks of hitting the target from the spot from the predetermined position were carried out. The main purpose of the exercises, considering the combat experience gained in the patriotic war, is improving the practical skills and shooting skills of military personnel, as well as further increasing of the combat readiness of units. Egyptian Portal posted an article about the visit of members of the Association of Journalists of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to Karabakh. The article provides the detailed information about the territories liberated by the Azerbaijani army during the 44-day patriotic war. The author, editor-in-chief of the Al Diplomacy Portal, Ashraf Abu Rafa, noted that the high skills demonstrated by the Azerbaijan armed forces on the battlefield are studied in military academies of many countries. The article also includes the impression of journalists. Fizuli International Airport, Victory Road, restored historical and cultural monuments of Susha, the city of Aghdam destroyed by Armenians, were discussed in detail. It was stressed that the atrocities committed by Armenia were in the spotlight of the Arab public with facts. Another 82 unexploded ordnances were found in the liberated territories. According to the National Agency for Mine Action, 7 anti-personnel and 27 anti-tank mines were found and neutralized during the demining operations in Terter, Aghdam, Fizuli, Shusha, Gubadli, Cebrail, and Zengilan from March 7th through March 13th. Almost 87 hectares of territory were cleaned of mines and unexploded ordnances. Joint projects between Azerbaijan and Iran play a significant role in dynamic development of cooperation. This was stated by participants of the event organized at the Foreign Ministry on the occasion of the 30th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries.
Fruitful activity of the interparliamentary friendship and joint working groups between Azerbaijan and Iran in various spheres is ongoing. Mutual visits and signed documents further strengthen the cooperation. This was stated by the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Rövşən Məmmədov at the event dedicated to the 30th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Azerbaijan and Iran. It was stressed that the implemented joint projects played a significant role in the dynamic cooperation in the political, economic, transport, energy and cultural and other spheres.
There is an active state commission on cooperation between the two countries in economic, trade and humanitarian spheres. Today there are more than 2,000 Iranian companies specializing in various spheres like construction, trade, communication, agriculture, provision of services, which are operating in Azerbaijan. It should be noted that during the pandemic, Azerbaijan-Iran state border wasn't closed for trade and transit cargo even for an hour.
Ambassador of Iran to Azerbaijan, Said Abbas Musavi, reminded that Iran was one of the first countries to recognize the independence of Azerbaijan. He noted that the celebration of the 30th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations is a glaring example of the fact that they are based on friendly and historic roots. The event also presented a photo exhibition dedicated to the diplomatic relations of the two countries.
That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye.